There we go. What's up, YouTube? It is Sunday, January 21st. About to hit up the gym to go knock out some mobility. Well, I'm gonna hit my cardio first and knock out some mobility. And pretty much I wanted to show you guys the dynamic stretch portion of it. Y'all can use this to warm up. Ideally, these are things you would want to do to warm up because, you know, this will prime your body or damn near no matter what it is that you're working. You don't ever want to just go to the gym, walk up in that hole and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start lifting, yeah, I'm gonna go start bench pressing, start doing curls. But, ignore that. I'll put my seatbelt on here in a second. But anywho, right, so again, you know, this will be definitely ideal for warming up no matter what it is that you're doing, because again, you always want to be primed for a movement. You always want to make sure that you can maximize the amount of range of motion you're using. You're as stable as you physically can be, you know, etc., etc. But again, I'll show you guys once I get to the gym exactly what it is that I'm doing after I knock out my cardio. Alright guys, so I'm just going to do a voiceover for this portion of the video, and jumping right into it, I started with a hamstring stretch to an overhead lat stretch, and I'm just switching back and forth. And as I'm at the bottom, I am protracting my shoulders forward, allowing myself to feel a stretch in my mid back. And then as I come up to the top, I'm squeezing my glutes, rotating my thumbs out, externally rotating my shoulders back, performing just anywhere from like 10 to 20 reps. And then the next thing I did were some body trunk twists with having my hands folded out, keeping my shoulders protracted as well, feeling the similar stretch in the mid back that I was in the previous movement. And I do just about 20 rotations, pretty much warming up of course your QL, your quadratus lumborum, things like that, getting you ready for twisting motions, priming yourself up. And followed by that movement, I did these prone cobras, making sure my shoulders are externally rotated, keeping my thumbs up, pretty much hands towards the walls, and making sure I'm squeezing my glutes to the top, really warming up that thoracic extension that you will need generally in movements. Then the next movement were some dynamic forward lunges, where I begin by driving my knee up as high as I can, reaching a good distance amount, and then I twist in, twist out, and twist back in. And the purpose of all these movements is to maximize the range of motion you are trying to obtain. So these are meant to be done very slow and controlled. Do not rush these at all. That is not the intent of these movements, because again, it's now you're just doing these movements, just doing without knowing the intent, and that's just pretty much a waste of time. So again, always constantly be trying to reach as high and as far out as possible with all these movements. Followed by those, you're going to need a resistance band with just a medium amount of resistance, nothing too difficult, just enough to give you a good amount of resistance. And all I did was just some kneeling, external rotations with an underhand grip, just to really emphasize, you know, that external rotation, because that is the purpose of this movement, really making sure those shoulders are able to open back up, really pausing at the top of the movement. And I prefer to do these kneeling, so I'm taking, you know, just any minimal leg drive there may be in. I'm keeping my glutes squeezed, so I'm just really focusing on externally rotating my shoulders. And then followed with that, I did some what I like to call flex band pull aparts. So in the beginning, you see how my back is all rounded. I'm having my shoulders protracted forward, and as I pull the band apart, I am retracting my shoulder blades. Again, really emphasizing that thoracic extension, really making sure we're able to keep that nice and open, very mobile, very, very good for just, again, priming yourself up for any movement that will be utilizing your shoulders. And then After that, I did these shoulder dislocates. You can use a broomstick, some sort of mobility stick to perform these. That's what I personally prefer, but I'll show you here in a minute after performing, I believe, one more rep. No, never mind. Where you can utilize the same resistance bands and do the same thing if you do not have a stick or a broomstick available to you. Again, personally, I prefer to do these with the stick, but again, you can get the job done just by using a resistance band. Really making sure we're emphasizing, again, reaching as far out as possible and as high as possible as the band is traveling over our head onto the other side. And then after that, you will need for sure the stick. There is no thing to replace it with this movement. This is just the quadratus lumborum stretch, your QL stretch. All this is you're bending and twisting, putting yourself at the bottom of that position, and you're getting out of it and you're squeezing your glutes to the top. So you're putting yourself back in neutral alignment. I do just typically 10 reps of these, and then of course you got to do both sides. So then once I finish this side, I'll then do the other side. Again, this is just to really make sure our body is able to bend and twist the way it's supposed to. There's no such thing as that being bad for you. It's only bad if you're unable to do it, and you will only be unable to do it if you do not practice it. And then to finish off this dynamic warm-up, I was then doing some face pulls with an external rotation. A total of 20 reps, but for the first 10, I paused at the top of the movement, really squeezing back, and then afterwards I just bust out the remaining last 10, just knocking them out. I hope you guys found this little video useful. Hope you guys can take this away and put it into your own training. Thank you.